GoDaddy.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Oh man, we are live on Hot Tag Takes. Mitch Lane to my left, PJ Morin to my right. How we doing, fellas? We doing all right?
Doing fan-diddly-tastic. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I get to teach swim lessons for a living. I'm going into work at 4. Another beautiful day. We're having a good time, man. And I know you wrote out an introduction, so I'm going to let you take it away from here. PJ Morin of Hot Tag Takes with the intro today. This is a good day.
All right, guys, listen. Today we have a very special guest with us today. Personally, one of my favorite people on this earth, a big fan of all of the work he's ever done. You've been a public figure for a long time. You've had a Vancouver nightclub, Blues Place in the 60s. You have a ton of cult classic Cheech and Chong films, and you're now running a highly successful CBD business. Welcome to the show, Sir Tommy Chong, everybody.
Tommy Chong is here. Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
All right,
for
so
boring introduction. Thank you.
I love this guy already. Told Ruben to get back in his cage before the show. Not knowing Ruben has a friend in there, which I don't know if I like it like that because that means Ruben has friends. But
Thank you for giving us the light of day.
To
Mr.
start
Chong.
this interview, I want to ask what we really all want to know, the important questions. Does your middle name start with an H? Because I think it would be epic if your initials were THC.
Wouldn't that be great?
Right?
Yeah, I thought about it, but no. Actually, my middle name is like my life. It was weird.
Okay.
In fact, I never used to tell people my middle name because it was kind of, when you're really young and you have to explain shit, it's tough. So a lot of times people call the other people by the wrong name because the kid just didn't want to be bothered to correct them.
Right, 100%.
So my middle name is Beacon Chong. Beacon.
Okay.
And I finally, my mother, because what happened when I was born, I know my mom and dad, I'm quite sure, but I there was a little weird about my birth, because no one really wanted me in the world, especially my older brother. He was not thrilled when I come and took away the spotlight.
Damn it, man.
And he's let me know that all his life. He passed away a few years ago, but he was my older brother that taught me fear.
Okay.
Older brothers will do that to you.
Yeah. Stick their chest out on you, right?
But what it was with me when I was born, my dad was overseas at the time, and so my Chinese uncle. See, my dad was Chinese.
Okay.
Again, he passed away too, but he was Chinese back in the time when, even though he was born in Canada, he had to have a special passport saying that he was Chinese.
Really?
And America had what they call the Chinese Exclusion Act, because the Chinese were so talented in everything they did that it wouldn't take them long to overtake the world like they're trying to do.
Right.
But it's because of the wisdom and the old civilization that China went through. But anyway, my when I was born, my uncle wanted me to have a Chinese name.
Okay.
And so he wrote the figures on my birth certificate. And so my real name, Chinese name is Cheong Bak Hong.
Okay. Got it.
And when I say that to the Chinese, regardless of whether they're Mandarin or Cantonese or whatever it is, the Chinese system of naming people is so direct. When you know your name, it's usually three like syllables. Is that what it's called? CHONG, Hong. When you know your name, anybody that hears it knows exactly what tribe you're from, what area you're from, who you are. They know who you are.
Okay.
And so, and in my family, I was the only guy with a Chinese name. And so my middle name, my B Kim, my now wife, she was my girlfriend for a long time.
Yeah.
My mistress for a long time. She loved when she heard everything about her. That's why I love her so much. Everything weird about me, she loved because it was different.
That's a lovely thing.
And she loved my middle name. And that was, in fact, I did change it because it was weird having a B period Chong or B period, B Kin. And so what we did, when I got a new passport, the passport guy says, hey, you can change anything if you want now. So instead of B period, I put BEE, like B. And I don't know why I did it.
That's all right. What I'm kind of thinking, you said
that's his dog.
You said the word beacon, right? And you do a lot of things, work with a lot of weed businesses, a lot of cannabis businesses. So it's almost like you're a beacon of weed. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, beacon of weed.
Just lending it out to the poor. I love it.
See, Mommy's teasing me about my name.
I thought it was a good thing. And
you say that now, but you tease me.
No, you actually didn't know this, but he actually has one of your brands. You said that was LA Sunshine on you right now?
Yeah, no. So I do have a pen. I am a big fan of LA Sunshine. I love hybrids, and it's so good. It makes me feel so good. It's the best one I've had.
I love that.
And that's not just me saying it because it's your brand. Like, genuinely, honestly, as someone who indulges, I love it so much. Actually, when I do it, usually when I do it, I can't help but
does Tommy Chong impressions.
When I do the LA Sunshine, the Tommy Chong comes out with my friends. And I'll just start talking to him, man. I'll be like, hey, you got another joint on you, man? You want to come out get some more brews, man? I can go for some Bud Light. You got to get a little Canadian with it. Got to feel the rhythm with it, man.
I went into the bar. It looks like a speech
good.
man.
That's good, man.
He's an impressionist, so he does a lot of these. He does very good ones. He showed me Snoop Dogg today.
I did. I
My
did
dog
show you my
barks
Snoop
at the
Dogg.
same. My dog barks at the gardener. But we got LA gardeners. They don't use a broom. They use blowers.
Oh, okay.
And those blowers, they can fuck up a podcast in a minute.
Yeah, they make noise.
Unless it's this podcast.
Yeah.
Ruben took us 20 minutes just to get on there. Not even live right now, this guy over here. But what I want to ask, you were talking about this when you were, talking to us before the show when Ruben was getting everything set up. You are the OG pothead, one of the OGs, definitely for sure. How'd you start smoking weed in the first place? Anyone who smoked has obviously had to have a first time, and my mom has had experiences with it. It helps her out through stress and anxiety. Some people that have had experiences. I think one of your friends had insomnia. Yeah. So where was kind of your origin story with this? I'm almost talking about it like he's a Marvel character.
I was late in life. I wasn't. I was 18 years old before I got turned on. Okay. I was born in Edmonton, but raised in Calgary, Alberta. Okay. And Calgary is like the northern version of Mississippi. Okay. It's white, and like the Chinese were the minorities, and I learned about that really quick. Weed reefer was considered worse than heroin as far as the news goes, and people, and no one was smoking weed. You couldn't find weed. In fact, one time in Vancouver, the Four Tops, remember that group singer, the Four Tops? Yeah. They were performing in Vancouver, and of course, before they went on, they toked up a little bit, and they left the roach in the ashtray. And the maid came to clean the room, and she found the roach. So they phoned the police, and the police came down and got the room next to the Four Tops. And when the Four Tops finished their gig, came back, the cops busted in the door and arrested all of them, including the white Jewish comic who kept insisting. Who kept insisting, I'm not with these guys. I'm not these guys.
Yeah. Gotta get out of it.
I'm part of this.
He said he was the funniest. He was so funny when they were busting him. He'd never been that funny on stage. But Canada was like Mississippi was horrible. You know, I had friends that went to jail for a bag of weed. He did a year in jail for selling it. In fact, the cops came in my house in Vancouver. My mom and dad used to rent rooms out to all my ratty friends, and this one kid was dealing, dime bags.
Yeah.
And the cops come in, they jacked up my dad, and just they're very racist and very prejudiced. And kid went to jail. I got back at the cop, though, the cop that jacked up my dad. Yeah. He was a very famous pot detective or, narcotics guy in Vancouver. And he was known all over Vancouver. And his name was Stadenko. Now, if you remember the name, that's the name of the cop in Up in Smoke.
Oh. You know what? I just rewatched Up in Smoke last night. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I did. That's such a good
Stadenko is the name of a real narc in Vancouver.
Oh,
and after we published it, after the movie, he got so famous that they shipped Stadenko off to Turkey.
I thought they were just going to send him weed, but that's even better. He was doing well in Canada. He's Ukrainian anyway. He was. Yeah. And so he gets shipped off to Turkey, and then he's in Turkey for like 16 years. Wow. And then he comes back to Canada, to Vancouver, and he really didn't have a job. Right. And so I get a call from all the narcs in Vancouver. They're saying, hey, Abe Stadenko? And of course I knew him. I put him in the movie. And I said, yeah. He said, well, hey, by the way, this is so-and-so, Detective so-and-so from narcotics. It's not a business call. He said, don't worry about it. He says, Abe is retiring, and we want to send him a going away party. And we got this, we want you to send us a poster, Up in Smoke poster, because Abe Stadenko's name is on the poster. Stacey Keach starring as Sergeant Stadenko. So we signed it. Cheech and I signed the poster, sent it off to him, and then they give him a goodbye party, and that was it. But
wow,
that was so funny. No, I when I wrote the movie, I wanted to settle some old scores, because like you said, when did I start smoking? I was 18 years old. I used to go to the jazz club. Now, I wasn't a good enough musician to play jazz, but if you walked in there with your guitar, like I would do, they would let you in because they figure you're a musician. And so I started carrying my guitar everywhere I went, so I get into places for free. And one night I was there, and Eddie, I keep forgetting his name. Anyway, Eddie come up, the owner of the place, come up to me. He just came back from LA, and he says, I got some presents for you. Weird, because we weren't that tight, but he knew me. And so he handed me a Lenny Bruce comedy record. Okay. It was the first anti-pot mention, on vinyl. That, and then he handed me a joint from L.A., Mexican Sinsemilla. So I put the joint in my pocket. And so Eddie lights up another joint. He wants his own. He lights it up. And that was the first time I took a toke.
Wow.
Whoa, did it change my life. I can tell you the song that was playing. It was Lonely Woman by Ornette Coleman.
Oh.
Ooh.
Jack. Lonely Woman.
Oldie but a goodie.
And when I heard that song, first time I smoked up, I could see a lonely woman sitting in a balcony, kind of waiting for her guy or her girl to show up.
Just imagined it.
That vivid. And then I when I went home, I was so ripped. I went home, put on the Lenny Bruce record, killed myself laughing. I just loved it. And I played over and over again. And then I had my joint that he gave me.
Yeah.
And that joint that he gave me lasted a whole month.
Wow.
Because I took a toke and I put it out. And just like he gave me a toke, I just took one good toke rip and then I handed it back to him. And so all my life, I've been this kind of a one toke guy.
Okay.
Toke up and then put it out. And that's why I could function. And that's why I never really went into the heavier stuff, because I had no need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was by accident. But I started bodybuilding just around that time. And all the bodybuilders, and the reason I got a bodybuilding is that I would meet bouncers that worked the dances that I'd play.
That makes sense.
And I used to hang out at the door with the bouncers, and because they're big muscle heads, if I tried to smoke a cigarette with them, they'd really reach out and grab the cigarette out of my mouth even. Put it in. Damn it, you don't need that shit. Hey, come on. Come on,
100%.
get down to the gym, start working out. That's how I got into bodybuilding. Because what the one toke did, it activated the brain to the point where, oh man, it just woke everybody up, the brain cells.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you can taste food better, you can hear music better, everything is just better. And the reason is you got a brain.
It's
working
activated.
on your brain, clearing out all the cobwebs, and that was my first time.
Is that why you've been like a one toke guy though? Because like I feel like you just want to activate it, and I feel like that's where you're kind of going with weed. You just take that one toke, you activate everything, and it just kind of enhances everything that you're doing.
Exactly.
Bodybuilding, eating food. I'm like that with alcohol. Like I'll get certain beers at certain places. I'll get like a certain drink. Everything can kind of get enhanced when you think about it. So that's why you're a one toke kind of guy.
Yeah,
I didn't know
exactly.
Okay.
And it carried me through all sorts of things. What's his name? McCarty, Daryl McCarty, the hockey player.
Okay.
He was an enforcer, big ass hockey player for, I forget who Detroit. He was a Detroit player, big hero in Detroit. Big pothead, but he was also a cigarette smoker. And so the last hash bash I met the McCarty, and we had a nice time. We chatted for a while. And he's got the cigarette habit. So I told him how I quit smoking cigarettes. And he said, how'd you do that? I said, every time I felt like a cigarette, I light a joint. And I take my one toke and put it up. That was it. And pretty soon, a month, it took a month. And then all of a sudden, I remember driving to Seattle from Vancouver. And I remember taking a package of cigarettes and throwing them out the window. Because I didn't need them anymore.
Yeah, because you had something you could take a toke of.
Nice.
But,
that's right.
So I gotta ask, because this is actually something I'm curious about, and you told us you got into bodybuilding. Did you ever actually get on stage? Because I lift a lot of weights. It's been a big part of my life since I started playing football when I was 15. I still do it to this day, just because it's my way of helping me with stress and anxiety, and just kind of getting out of life for like an hour or two. So I just want to ask.
And it gives you a reason to wear those boy beaters.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I got to have a reason to look like Fat Slender Man and actually pull it off and still be okay with it. It makes everything better, along with weed and wife beaters. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
But I got to ask, because you talk about bodybuilding, so that made me kind of curious. Did you ever actually like get on stage or anything like that? Because that's something like I got curious about, because I do it just, for me. I didn't know if you.
You mean enter a contest or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, Cheech and I performed at, I forget which one, was it Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Olympia?
Oh, that's
Really?
wild.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I became friends with Arnold because I was in Gold's Gym when
Okay.
Arnold came from Germany.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we first walked in fact, we used to, my now wife, we used to sit on the beach with Arnold
Okay.
and listen to guys tell Arnold fucked up English. Arnold,
Yes.
you want to get a hit with the girls? Tell the girls they got real nice pussies. Yeah. Oh yeah, I will tell them nice pussies.
I can't even imagine doing that in Arnold's accent. Maybe you should do that.
Yeah, you ladies have very nice pussies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice pussy in my chopper, yeah.
very nice
Well,
pussy. I'd put chopper in it.
Arnold and
I'd like to choke your neck like chicken.
we both had a friend. His name was Zabel, and if you look him up in the bodybuilding, he was a legend
Okay.
because he would enter contest and he would win every body part,
Okay.
but he would always lose the overall because he was only like 5'9",
Oh,
something like
yeah.
that, and he was Mr. Natural. He never did
Okay.
any steroids, but
Okay.
by not doing steroids, he had this phenomenal tight body that was just, the thing is with steroids, they look good from a distance and all that
Oh, yeah.
stuff, but if they don't get the shots regular, it all disappears.
Goes.
And with Zabel, because he was Mr. Natural,
It stayed.
I mean, this guy, he was so and he was the biggest pothead ever. And what he would do, he'd have pot parties at his house, and this is where Arnold and Dave Draper and Frank Zane and everybody would come over to Zabel's house. And what they did, they had this big ass bong, the big bong, and they would put an eighth in the bowl. Then they would
Okay.
fire it up with like a blowtorch. And then the
Nice.
thing was one toke. You had to take that whole thing and make the eighth fall into the water and explode. Poof, bam.
Oh, wow.
And then the smoke would come up. And so all these big bodybuilders they're all doing it too.
Yeah.
They're doing it. And then they handed it to me. And I'm a one toker, right?
Right.
I took my little,
Yeah.
I was about to say it was a
and
big
I
ass
think
toke
they
that
didn't
day.
say it. They didn't say it, but I saw the caption over my head. Pussy.
It was either a
But-
big ass toke that
but
day or they
check-
said
check-
something.
Check this out. Arnold, then Arnold does some movies, I was there, before he did anything. And then I was there when he was doing, all the pumping iron was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so so then Arnold found out, who Cheech and Chong was.
Right.
And so he says, Tommy, do my contest. And I said, sure. And so Cheech and I we wrote a bit called Queer Wars.
Okay.
and we did Queer Wars at the event. And what it is, Queer Wars it's Star Wars, only they're all gay.
Ruben actually had a question for you about another movie, but I think you have an idea of what it might be. He's actually in another room right now, so I'm gonna let you keep going. So
Okay, but
Wasn't
Queer
curious.
Wars. So we're on stage at the Santa Monica Civic. The Mr. Olympia's been at. Now the special guest Cheech and Chong, and we're doing Queer Wars. Well, the Queer War bit is that we're being attacked by the bad guys, and so we're using dildos as guns,
I can
And
only
we're-
imagine.
and we're using dildos, and we're going, come. Then I said, "Quick, what's the matter? I can't come." So he takes the dildo and he does it. Oh, good. Come.
When you get everybody, you got to make sure you hit them right in the mouth, or it's not the same.
That's to say.
That bit put that crowd on the floor because it's a bodybuilding contest. 99% of everybody was gay.
Oh,
They're all in
wow.
there.
Oh, my God. That's
They loved, and then the review we got, It was crazy. They loved it, every bit of it. They couldn't believe it. And Arnold, oh man, he became such a fan. And then recently, when, just what, a year or two ago, it was in the news, that I suffered cancer.
Yeah.
And the way the news had it, like I was, because of my age, they thought I was dying. And so Arnold comes to the restaurant that I would go and have breakfast, and all of a sudden Arnold's there, and he cared very much about Tommy Chong, because of Cheech and Chong, So Arnold and I go way back. In fact, Arnold's wife, the Kennedy, I keep forgetting her name.
Okay.
What's her name? The newscaster, Schreiber, Maria Schreiber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was in down the street from my house. Arnold lives kind of close to me too. Anyway, Maria was in the restaurant with her son, Patrick.
Okay.
And Patrick was still in high school, and he was having troubles at school. And the trouble was that because he was famous, he got the bullies, trying to pick a fight with him, for him being Patrick, And so Maria wanted me to give Patrick some advice. And she said, and Patrick's sitting there, and Maria says, "What advice would you give my son or Patrick, when these guys are teasing him and picking on him and that?" I told Patrick, I said, "You're too rich and you're too famous to do anything but laugh and walk away. Just walk away. You don't lift a finger to hurt anybody, because you're such a target. You're a lawsuit waiting to happen,
Yeah.
And so if that's all they're calling you, if that's all you're teaching about, you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what I went through, growing up,
Right.
But I had an older brother, so I had an enforcer brother that took care of my things. But the thing was with Patrick, he's a big guy, and you could slap someone and kill him. You could push somebody and kill him. You don't want to put your hands on anybody, especially if you're a bodybuilder, because you go in court, they look at you, boom, they're fine for the other guy. But Patrick, it was cool too, because Patrick listened to me, and then I met Maria sometime later, and she said that it had an effect. It calmed him down too.
Wow.
Because he was being teased, and then all of a sudden he realized what they're teasing him about is something to be proud of. Hey, your dad's famous and rich. Tease me all you want, motherfucker.
That's right.
That's really
I got
cool.
no reason to even worry
That's really
about
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Just remind me of it. That's okay. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Be here all week.
Yeah. And not only that, but if you're nonviolent, you can fuck with people. You can just stay on their butt, as long as you don't use any kind of violence. Right? As long as you don't break the law.
Right.
You're cool. No, I learned
100%.
Peace power.
when I was in high school. I was trying about my third attempt to finish high school. I quit. As soon as I could quit, I quit. Got a job. And then I remember being on a roof. I was a roofer. That's one job you can get in Canada anywhere, no matter who you are. As long as you can say you'll do it. So I'm on the roof. And I'm watching all my friends go to school. I've been working 4 hours. They're going to school. And then they're coming home from school. I got 4 more hours of work to do. I decided, I think I'll go back to school.
I get out too late.
I tried to go back to school. And now I'm older and bigger. And I was always older. My age, I started school quite late in life, because of being in the hospital and that. And so I was always the oldest kid in the class. And so one time I'm in this older class, rejects trying to get through high school.
Right.
And that's how I become a comedian. I just there's no filter on the mouth.
It's the best tool you can have.
I heavily relate with that.
Best tool you can
That's
go
why I got
without.
into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You say one more thing, do it all, and so, yeah, you're gonna do what? You know, bam.
and then you always have to say that one more thing. When I was a kid, I'm 21, so when I was a kid, that was 5 minutes ago. But when I was in high school, I was always getting in trouble for running my mouth, busting balls. I never broke the law. I never threw a punch at nobody. But listen, I think you should legalize busting balls.
Absolutely, 100%.
No, you can't. You can't because that's our power. You know that's our power as a comedian. That's what Don Rickles. That's what he made a living.
Yeah,
doing that because he did it so with so much heart and so much love. You know that Rickles.
You knew he loved
if you never got insulted by Rickles, you felt insulted. You know?
Yes, 100%.
Was he?
She insulted me.
Was he one of your influences growing up to become a comedian? Like, who influenced you to even go into comedy and even music?
Well, I started playing music really young. You know, and I could play guitar, and I was a farm boy guitar player. And that means when you grow up in the farm or in the country, everything you do is a job. there's nothing to, you know, I think I'll do this for fun, you know, because when you grow up in the country, especially when you got outdoor plumbing, you know, you're the waking hours, you're busy.
Right.
You're filling up that wood pile. And if the wood pile is empty, you're cutting the wood to fill the wood pile.
Yeah.
Or you're walking around to find other wood piles that you can steal from to fill up your wood pile. So you're always busy. And so when I found out, you know, the neighbor who's a fiddle player found out I could play guitar, you know, I got a gig playing for parties. Nice. I was 8 years old and shit, I was having a great time, you know, playing backup guitar for this fiddle player.
That's awesome.
8 years old, 9, 10, you know, my whole young life. And when you play for dances, it's not, you know, play for grandma and thank you, play that other tune, you know.
Right.
When you're playing for dances, you're playing sets, music sets.
This man singing about the woodpile blues.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm telling you. But it was so much fun. When you're playing for dances, you know, you got people dancing. And you can make them move just with the rhythms.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. And so you know, I've been entertaining, but I've been and not getting paid other than give the kid a beer. You know,
right.
8 years old.
Like, throw him something. And he'll take it.
And don't forget to slice the pizza.
Give me some.
So that just eventually bled into comedy?
Well, it started me playing in nightclubs.
Okay.
You know, and back in the day in the 50s, every nightclub, especially the black nightclubs, they always had floor shows. And so you had the jukebox for the dancing, and then you had the floor shows. And every floor show always had a comic and usually a dancer, you know, a stripper. And so I was, from an early age, I was learning comedy.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I got Red Fox. We also, growing up the farm, we'd also, for fun, we'd go to the dump. You know, because back in Calgary, there was a military base. It was all surrounded by military. Calgary is weird because Calgary is surrounded by Indian reservations because the Americans drove the natives, the Sioux and all them, up to Canada, you know, to escape, you know, being slaughtered down in America. Man. And so Calgary is surrounded by Indian reservations. The what do they call Blackfeet, the Sioux, Ojibwe, all of them, and
wow,
and it's culture there, and so the army base back in the day there was no garbage pickup, and so what you did, you'd throw everything in a pile, and then at the end of the summer you burned it, you know, and so for fun we'd go dig in the garbage thing, and guess what I found in the garbage? A Red Fox comedy record.
No way.
It was called a race record. Back in the day, a race record. And it was Red Fox's My Dick, it's called. It was a race. It was if you, I don't know if it's out anymore. Red did it back in the 40s, 50s, and it was a race. He would do like a race, and he would make up horses' names, you know. And I think My Dick was one of the horses. Come on, bringing up the rear is My Dick. My Dick's gaining. My Dick's, you know, my Dick's ahead by a head, you know.
100%.
And then followed by Wet Towel. Wet Towel making. Here comes Wet Towel. Wet Towel wiping up the rear. He's bringing up the rear.
Wet Towel's bringing up the rear,
Wow,
along
what a
with the
genius.
horse.
It's
all swinging everywhere.
Especially me. I laughed so hard,
Yeah,
you know.
man.
And so then I got to know Red Fox, and then I got to know Richard Pryor, and hang with these guys, you know.
Oh man,
And so
amazing.
you tell me how I got into comedy, man. I studied with Red, watched him, and being a musician. If you know anything about music,
Yeah.
Our job is to memorize. We
Yes.
got to We hear a phrase or something, and it's the same as comedy. When you hear a good joke, if you're a
remember,
musician, it stays. It hangs in there, and because it's like a weapon. A good joke is like a weapon, and that's what I've been doing. You know, and then when I got into stand up, and then I started, you know, doing it seriously. I got to tell you, because when Cheech and I broke up, after we did some successful movies, I tried to direct a movie. In fact, it's called Far Out Man. If you get a chance, check it out.
Okay.
I've heard about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Bluetooth mode.
I activated a speaker.
Hey, if it wasn't going to be the dog, it was going to be that.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't a leaf blower.
Yeah, but what was I saying? I forgot now.
You and Cheech
About-
broke up.
You
You
talk
talked
about
about Far Out Man.
Yeah.
Far Out Man.
You directed it.
You directed Far Out.
Oh
Man?
yeah. So I found out, you know, I wasn't going to do movies, you know, except Cheech and Chong movies, and then the only thing left was stand up, and so I was in Vancouver, you know, and I didn't have to work. In other words, you know, I was very comfortable, but I had a lot of time on my hands, and so Dennis Miller. Remember Dennis Miller from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
You remember Dennis Miller?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I guess it was the 60s, 70s when Dennis Miller was on those shows. Anyway, he turned into, he tried to be a Trumpy. It didn't work. But he was doing a stand-up show alone.
Okay.
And I got to see this. And so I went to his show, and he's up there alone. And I went backstage, met him, and Dennis Miller said to me, he said, "Do you still get nervous before you go on stage?" And when he said that, it was like, oh, I want to go on stage. I want to do that. I want to get nervous.
I should be nervous? That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I watched Dennis's show, and it was good. It was okay. And then I said, "Oh shit, I want to do this. This is what I want to do." You know,
Yeah.
no guitar amps to carry, no bass players to worry about, no drummers. You know, just me.
I got to talk to
Just,
people.
The whole package. Yeah.
And so I said, "Okay, I'm going to do this." So I made plans, found a club where I could start my comedy career, and I started it the night Rodney King got beat. Remember that night?
Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, Rodney King got beat. My first bit when I went on stage, I
Was it
said,
Rodney King?
I said, "You notice how mothers, it doesn't matter why your kid's on TV. If your kid's on TV, mothers are very proud." And so I do a bit about a mother of the cop that's beating.
I'm so proud of my
man.
son for making it through.
That's such a
wasn't the
good
one
bit.
holding him. He was the one that was actually hitting him. You see how he hit him? He's in good shape, man. My boy's in good shape.
Oh my God.
So I did that bit, but check this out. So I finished, I'm only doing 5 minutes. So I finished my bit, and then someone from the audience goes, Hey, where's Cheech?
Oh, man. Come on.
Right at the end,
Fishing
too.
out gold.
But isn't that a perfect
Yeah.
heckling line for Chong?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that so
100%.
perfect?
Where's
It's
Cheech?
so perfect. And when I did it, I had
Did
a
Cheech
sports
get
jacket
lost?
on, you know. I wanted to be a real like Rodney Dangerfield, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so I had a sports jacket on, and then Paul Reiser is a friend, you know, and Paul had a manager, and I said, "Oh, Arthur," and so Arthur, yeah, Arthur says, "Oh, do you need a manager?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'm just starting out." He says, "Okay. First thing you do, you got to look like Chong. You can't look like no. You lose the sports jacket,
Right.
blue jean shirt, go
Never-
back the headband.
Never seen me
you
in
know.
a sports jacket.
You got to be Chong, you know. So I did that, but I told Arthur too. I said, "Listen, I was, scared shitless, going out there. I didn't have material, I barely had 5 minutes." And so Arthur said, "Oh, don't worry about it, And so I said, I'll go on the road, but I just want to, open the show. I only got 10, 15 minutes. That's all I got. Tops.
Yeah.
And so no problem. But, when guys say no problem, it means they haven't thought anything through.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You don't know
so
what that
I
means.
get to the first gig in Clearwater, Florida,
Okay.
and I've got fucking full page of calendar section. My picture, full page, appearing at the comedy club, Chong, Cheech and Chong. Beyond headlining, fuck, I was like owning the club. It felt like,
Yeah. Like, this is
I
mine.
had
Wow.
5 minutes, and I couldn't do the Rodney King joke then. That was done.
Yeah, put my name on the sign.
There she is again.
I had to, in fact, and then it's 2 shows. And so the first show, I did so little time that they had to put the other comics on again. Because I went into a broom closet and sat there with the brooms and the mops and everything else, and try to write at least. I needed at least 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I did a crash course, and then I got through the gig, okay, and then I started but that's the only way to do it. You get out there and it's like learning how to swim and being thrown into the deep end.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't swim, you die.
Yeah.
Haven't
Right.
had to throw a
Survival.
kid into the deep end yet, but
Yeah. And so that's what I did, and then I started out, and then I started learning the do's and don'ts of comedy.
Yeah.
And there are a few.
Hey,
But the first don'ts I learned because my wife and I are kind of fitness freaks,
okay.
and so this lady she wanted to ask me something. I forget why or how. I mentioned something about her weight.
Bum,
That's
bum,
a
bum.
no-no.
Yeah,
for
big
comedy
no-no.
comedian.
Yeah.
And there was a group of comedians that were hanging out at the club. Well, mainly because I was there, but all the comics come around. They want to see the pro, how he does. And when I did that bit, I literally saw the comedians jump out of their seats. Oh my god!
Hey-o.
The worst thing you could do.
They were
is
waiting
talk
for Queer Wars to pop up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a bit, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just saying, "Oh yeah, you're kind of big, aren't you?" Yeah, some bullshit like that.
Right.
But anyway, and then go back to Gold's Gym. I was still working out like crazy, and so there's a photographer named Artie Zeller. He was the one that took all Arnold's pictures, and Frank Zane and that. He's a famous bodybuilder photographer.
Yeah.
And he would come. This is why I know my life is ordained, because I needed material. I'd go to the gym. Artie came up to me and started telling me joke after joke after joke. And then I'd go to the clubs and use those jokes. They worked great. And after about 6 months, Artie Zeller finally comes to me and says, "I've been telling you jokes for 6 months. You're the comedian You haven't told me one.
You know, I know a comedy couple where that just happened. The lady that I know, I'm actually friends with her. Her name is Emily Page. She posted a lot of jokes on Facebook. Her ex took them to Twitter, and she saved receipts for him. I just wish you could save receipts back then. And it just made me think of it. Because I
That's
looked
awesome.
at that whole thing. I was like, you know, this makes a lot of sense now. You were the one coming up with the jokes the whole time. I was like, where did he come up with that?
Hey, hey,
he
Tom.
wanted to ask you a
I want to
question.
ask you a question.
He's out of his
Since
cage.
I'm out of my cage, or as
Sure.
they're like Dracula at night, you know. I have to ask you, since we're on the premise of comedy, have you, or if you had the chance, around 1985, 1986, was asked by Mel Brooks to be in Spaceballs, would you have done it?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
I had an encounter with Mel Brooks.
Oh really?
It was pretty incredible. What's the guy with the buggy eyes that died? He was in Mel Brooks.
Pizza the Hut. He was in Spaceballs.
Baseball.
I'm kidding, obviously, but
Oh, I'm trying to think. What was his name?
The big guy. Oh,
You know who I'm talking about.
I think
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
a movie with him. I did a movie called Yellowbeard.
Yellowbeard.
And, yeah, Yellowbeard with all the Monty Python people. And
Oh,
Cheech and
okay.
Chong.
Oh yeah.
No
Oh,
way.
okay. Okay.
And Marty Feldman, I think was his name.
Yeah. I think you're
Right.
right.
Is that his name?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Marty Feldman, I think. Anyway, he was feeling bad. And we found out later it was because of the altitude in Mexico. He had a heart condition.
Oh.
And so he was feeling pretty bad. And so I told him, you know, find an acupuncture, you know, get some acupuncture, that'll help. You know, because I was pretty into acupuncture at the time. And the last thing he ever said to me was, "Thanks for the advice. I'm feeling much better now." And that night he died.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
He
that's
died
good.
on that. So
at least
so
he
we're
felt good.
Felt good.
we're at a memorial for Marty Feldman, and Mel Brooks comes in. Now
Okay.
Mel Brooks, when he walks in a room, he takes over the room.
Okay.
He literally took over. They're all comedians, you know, standing around there. Mel comes in, he takes over the room.
Wow.
And I was doing a movie. I forget which one it was, but anyway, I said, "Hey, Mel, I'm shooting you know, a movie. Hey, would you do me a favor? You know, would you like to do a little part in it?" And he said, "Tommy, why do you ask me that? you know, I never do anything but Mel Brooks movies. I mean, please."
Oh man.
I can.
He was honest, but
No, I can imagine. I was thinking
Sorry
about.
that. Yeah, thank you, Mel. Sorry. No, but he was honest.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact,
was
he
honest.
actually gave me, when you meet guys like that, they give you a license to, hey, you don't have to say yes to everything.
Right.
You know?
I can
That's
imagine
gotta
you. I can imagine you being the gunner for some reason. That was what he goes
Sure.
like. He's like, you know, the part where he goes like, "Who hired this gunner? He's an asshole, sir."
I knew it. I'm surrounded by
By
assholes.
assholes.
That's exactly what he's thinking now. That's why he said that. That's why he thought that. 'Cause I had a different vision.
And then I can see you go like, "Sir, I am not an asshole. Pothead maybe, but asshole not."
Everybody go out there and comb the area.
No, listen. I think that'd be a great scene. Just you go into the cockpit and it's just. Yeah, man. I don't see any ships anywhere near here, man.
You know, I haven't found shit either, man.
Yeah,
I think they might have a smaller comb, though.
yeah, but I
man.
did
What's
find
going
this
on there?
pot in the back.
Well, in fact, I know Mel doesn't partake. You know, those guys, you can tell. You know, there's a few that do, but most don't.
they're very
Yeah, for the
clean,
most
clean
part.
guys.
Yeah.
Most part, but
Okay.
we, you know, you just got to put up with what you, and you know what I do too? I accept whatever is there. That's much better
course.
than trying to change or trying to,
Yeah.
you know, get in there. You know,
Trying to
it's just
change.
like getting in line, you know. If you got to ask someone, why are we in line? Maybe you shouldn't be in that lineup. You know?
Right.
Try to change too much, you know, it's not the same. You know.
Yeah, if you relax, the world will come to you.
Right.
My brother was a big scuba diver,
Okay.
you know. And in fact, he worked underwater a lot, you know. He was one of those search and rescue guys, you know, that kind of. He was a big macho guy, my brother, and he had all the skin diving equipment.
Wow.
And he would, yeah. And so I'd go, and he had a house right on the water in
Okay.
Vancouver.
That
And so I
helps.
would go over, I'd put on the gear, and then I'd go down 12 feet into the water and find a place to sit and put a rock on my lap so I wouldn't float anywhere and just sit there.
Nice.
And every
All right.
once in a while, my brother would dive down to see if I was alive. You know,
You still got
I was
air
alive.
over there?
He'd look at
Hey.
my mask. You okay?
Hey,
Okay.
what's
You still
going
got
on?
there over there? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I was just
because
meditating.
I found out about the ocean. If you sit there quietly, it'll come to you.
That's true.
That sounds
See,
incredibly
when you're
peaceful.
down there swimming around looking, you're a big fish,
Yeah.
and everything is hiding from you. You know, they're hiding. They see this big body moving. Boom, they're hiding. But if
Yeah.
you sit there like a rock, next thing you know, you got fish coming
Then
up
they wonder.
in your mask, looking in your mask. You know,
Yeah.
is there anything to eat here? You know, and so I learned a lot about just sitting and watching and listening
Yes.
and letting the world perform for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have 2 cats. It's the same thing. No, like really though, like you know, you relax around them or else they hide. Because when my nieces and nephews come over, you know, when we have them over there, we're you know by the house, we're partying, we're having food, you know, and they're loud and stuff. They don't come over to them. Like the 3-4-year-old, my one nephew, like I taught him, like you know, try to like lay down and have him come to you. It actually worked for a little bit. Then he started trying to look for the cat under the couch, and he wanted nothing to do with him after that.
Oh no, then it's a game. You know, they're being hunted.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a game for him, not the cat.
It's a game of quite literally cat and mouse.
That's a pretty cool
Pretty
experience
much.
that you went through though with that whole like ocean thing. It's like
Yeah, no, that
it
was-
works on so many levels of like life that
Yep.
experiencing that. I mean, like has working in Hollywood or anything, have you learned life lessons? Did you learn that lesson particularly that you learned? Did that apply when you were like living in Hollywood and you were kind of like a big name?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I do it to this day. Well, I'm, you know, the way I've worked, I just get the job done.
Okay.
Like playing music when I was a kid. You know, I mean, the only gratification that you get is that you hang with adults. They treat you like an adult, and that's a nice feeling when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to go to bed, get out of here. You know, it's like, oh, hey, give the kid a beer.
Right.
Now you wish somebody would give you nap time.
Yeah.
But it really, I got taught a lot of good things from country living.
Oh.
You know,
Yes, sir.
and like working without compensation.
Yeah.
You see, because and this is very spiritual too. You know, if you expect to get paid a certain amount, then you will that's probably what you'll
It's
get.
coming.
But if you you know, go for what you're really worth, you know, and then put that vibe out, then you will get what you wish for or pray for. See,
Yeah.
this is the
Yes.
way prayer works. See, you get a lot of skeptics, especially in the comedic world or that, you know, because I learned this trick because when you're a famous comedian, okay, you got a lot of people trying to get you to work for nothing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we want
Yep.
to give you an honorary.
You'll get paid.
Honorary.
Yeah. You'll get paid in exposure.
I get a nice
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, we'll give you an honorary plaque, and we got you scheduled for maybe an hour. Just say thank you, you know.
Of course.
And then they're going to advertise, Tommy Chong's getting an honorary plaque, be there, blah, 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 you know. And so I even piss off my wife with this one.
That's why you got to keep doing it.
Skirball, they wanted to give me an honorary flag, and I'm a thinker too, and I wasn't born into the comedy stage. I was a lot of things, and then I studied to be a comedian.
Right.
And when you're studying, you see how people's how they finagle your way out of shit.
Yeah.
That's why the Jewish race can be so charming, because Lenny
know how
Bruce
to finagle.
talked about, they were charming, because that's how Moses got the Jews out of Israel. He charmed them out of it. In fact, the Lenny Bruce would do a bit about the Roman soldiers saying, "Hey, let's go talk to the charming Jew."
Then he tries to finagle his way
He'd
out
go
of it, just tuck
entertain,
and roll.
But the thing, so fuck, what was my train of thought? Where did I go?
The charming Jew?
Yeah.
Something around there.
Oh, you were talking about,
Going to talk to him.
You were talking about like country living and how that like kind of like helped your mental and working in silence, and then
yeah, and then you led into
it's like a life lesson,
Yeah.
What you can get anything you want, but first of all, you want to show compassion.
Yes.
And only way you can show compassion is to get to know people, get to know them, find out what's really wrong, and a lot of times the best way to handle, especially kids, like I got little grandkids now, and now, we're grandparents. We can torture the shit out of our own kids. Here, you want some more ice cream? Here's some candy.
Right.
Here's gummies in the ice cream.
You want to go to grandma's house? She lets us do everything.
Yeah.
Hey, you want an energy drink? It's in the fridge.
you're 4 years old. Here, have a shot.
No, but I find that if you learn the essence of a subject, and that's like the construction, why it's made, and a lot of times why things are there. What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of that? And like my travels in the South, I was with Motown for a while, and then, see, I was really interested in the race thing, because I went through my whole life, I was a minority, and it wasn't for my musclehead brother,
right.
I probably wouldn't be here, because I got a big mouth.
He was the one who backed you up.
And you can't help it.
Yeah,
I felt that on a spiritual level.
Not at all. Say the
That's
wrong
what
thing to the
comedians
wrong person.
There's a respect that I like Don Rickles. He's a good example. He respects people, and he only picks on the ones that he knows that can handle it.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And he always says obvious things that are true, but that again, it's funny.
That we all notice.
He'll rag on people, especially black people. He could get away with more shit than anybody because he's Don Rickles, and deep down he's got this great respect for everybody, not just.
Yeah.
That's what I learned about these
Just
guys.
a good guy.
Like Red Fox.
That's where
hung with
Mr.
Red
Warmth
Fox
came
for a while.
from.
And he one time I had an after hours club in Vancouver, and that's where after the shows, all the gang would come down there. Of course, they're looking for pussy,
Right.
to get paid.
Yeah, why not?
and after hours club, what are you going to a hotel and watch TV, or come down to after hours club and you might meet a local wonder, you never know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You got a tour.
he was Red Fox would come down. Who's the singer? There's a singer down there. I forget her name now, but she was very famous. And Barbara McNair was her name.
Okay.
And Red Fox, he gave her a compliment, but he also asked her to give him some head. But he
That's
did
fair.
it so
Listen, he
cleanly.
was
I
up-
gave you the
he-
compliment first.
He was
fine.
he was
Like,
upfront and
you can
honest
see
about
her
it. I respect the
considering,
man.
You know, like, nah. You know,
She just said nah, kept it moving.
no, but that like what I learned from Fox, you know. But here's what you learn if you're studying comedy. You gotta see where they're going with everything.
Yep.
Yes.
Where they're going, you know. And Red Fox, right from his opening line, and Richard Pryor was the same way. I watched many Richard Pryor shows, and then Cheech and I, like, first of all, we're just wannabes, you know, and then we do Up in Smoke, the movie. It changed everything, and now we're in the comedy club with a movie under our belt, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when Richard Pryor came down, watched our show, and then when we finished the show, at the end of the applause and everything else, who's standing at the bottom of the stage, helping us down was Richard Pryor.
Wow.
Can you imagine the
That's
honor?
beautiful.
That
That's
was?
so cool, dude.
That's as far. That's
Wow.
as
He
What
took
far.
us
From,
by the hand. Yeah, it was his way of saying, you know, you guys got it. You did it. You know.
That's awesome.
You got that
That's
approval
a-
from Richard
that
Pryor.
comedy
That's a
career
beautiful
is
thing.
now as far from being up in smoke as you can get. It's so funny.
Actually,
But I fucked with Richard Pryor one time. He got paralyzed, you know,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
doing too much coke and everything else, and he was in a wheelchair. And what was that stuff? Anyway, I found this. I'm a health food nut. I used to be anyway, not anymore because I ran out of years. So what was that? Was some kind of, and he burned the shit out of you, and he can't. Richard, I turned him on to this stuff, and it's a joke. It's funny as hell because he can't express himself, but I know it's burning the shit out of him.
God damn.
So then his wife told me later that he conveyed the thing. He said, "What was that shit Tommy Chong gave me?"
What was that shit from
You seized
Shaw?
the opportunity. That's
I
nice.
can't move my leg. What was that from Shaw?
He's no cokehead, you know. You give him anything, he'll snort it or shoot it or whatever.
Right.
oh my God.
What was
Grabbed
that
himself
stuff?
a
I
straw.
can't think of it right now. I don't know. My brain is weird.
Yeah, nah, that's all right.
Actually, while we were talking about some big names, and I know we were talking about Hollywood a bit earlier, I do want to touch on. I did have a question for you. What was it called? What was it like sharing a sentence with Jordan Belfort?
Oh, great. I love Jordan, man. We had a good time there. He's got an attitude, as you might expect.
Well,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his
Yeah.
content all over Instagram and TikTok and whatnot.
Seen
Yeah,
Wolf of
well,
Wall
he
Street, I trust
came
Leo.
into prison,
Yeah.
you know, like, first of all, he's one of the biggest fuck-ups you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah, I believe that also.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a genius, without
Yeah.
doubt. He was going to go to medical school. That's how smart he was. He was like finished school when he was like 16, 17 years
wow.
old. He finished everything. And he was destined to become some top surgeon or some medical. Except that the dean of the medical school, and this is what Jordan told me. He got up and welcomed the class and said, "Listen, if you're here to make money, get up and leave now." And
Wow.
Jordan got up and left.
Wow.
Because
I mean,
as
that's
smart as
fair.
he was, he did not see himself being, a doctor. That is, you got to admit, that's one of the shittiest jobs ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Even
All that
literally.
death.
I think the
Yeah.
medical
You're
industry is
dealing with-
really
you're
like
dealing with people dying and they got no control over everything.
Yeah.
And next you come in and it's like you got to put them together, fix them, make it. So anyway, Jordan. Then he got a friend of his turned him on to the stockbroker scam. And then when he found out about that, oh man, Jordan went crazy. He told me this. I'll tell you this one story. How he got started, because he worked his way up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the jobs he had was delivering meat.
Oh.
He would take a load of meat from this butcher in his truck. Then he'd go and knock on doors, and he'd find some, and he was a good-looking guy. He is a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like a Jehovah's Witness, like
and
Mitch.
ladies.
Yeah, no, he
ladies
definitely has
would
that
look at
charisma
him,
about him.
Old rich ladies would look at him, and Jordan would give him this story about this people ordered all this meat, and now they don't want it, and I'm stuck with all this meat, and if I don't sell it or get, do something with it, I'm stuck, and I can't, I'm this poor little guy, and I just need help. And it's really good meat. It's one of the best you can buy. And so he'll talk these old ladies into buying all the meat and filling up the freezer. And, they're old ladies. They're not going to eat all that meat.
Yeah.
But they that was his scam.
Right.
And then a friend of his pulled up in a Porsche or something, Before that, he was riding a bus. And then they told Jordan that he was stockbroker selling penny stocks. You hear that?
Yeah.
Let me close the door.
That's okay. Do what you got to do. Drum roll, please.
Father sandwich shit there. Anyway, Jordan, when he came to prison, we shared a cell, and I was writing my memoirs. And so Jordan come in from tennis. He was a good tennis player.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw me writing. He said, "What are you doing?" I told him I'm writing my book. And he said, "I'm going to write a book." And so he sat down, started writing. And then he showed me a page of what he wrote. And he said, "What do you think?" And like I was a teacher, And really what he was doing was showing off, how genius he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, I read it. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "To be honest, you haven't written shit." He wasn't not used to being told that.
Wow.
And he got like a little kid. He said, "What? What?" And I said, "You just copied the Bonfires of the Vanities. That's all you did. That's all you wrote. It's already been written." And so then this little boy voice is, "Well, what should I write?" He reminded me of my son. "What should I do?" I said, "Write all the stories you've been telling me every night."
Wow.
And I saw the light bulb click. That's all he needed. He needed that push.
Wow. That's nice.
And next thing I know, I'm out of jail, but I'm on probation. Right. Jordan's out of jail. He's on probation too. We're not supposed to see each other. So he pulls up his car in front of my house, peeps the horn. I come to the balcony. "What's up?" He goes, "Hey, Jordan, how are you doing?" He says, "I sold my book." I sold my book. We're going to make a movie out of it. Martin Scorsese's going to direct it. Leonardo DiCaprio is going to play me. Whoa. I said, "Congratulations."
All right, man. That's awesome.
That is so cool.
But that's Jordan Belfort.
So the brass tacks I'm hearing is that The Wolf of Wall Street exists because of Tommy Chong.
Well, the book,
Wow,
definitely.
dude. That's super cool.
That's amazing.
100%.
If the book didn't happen, the movie.
And someone asked me,
exactly.
and then
That's amazing.
CBS or something, these flew a guy out to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
I don't think they wrote anything that I wrote because I told them the truth, I said, he wrote, he wasn't writing, he was just copying other shit, stealing basically.
Right.
And
That's what he knew.
I told him that if he write his own life story, that's what people want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so right. And we're still good friends. He's still a scam artist,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
fair.
he'll ever lose that. And
That's where it started.
His girlfriend is
It's his humble beginnings.
well, I got another friend, like she's connected with the political scene, and she's connected with the Bidens, pretty tight, And so she heard about Jordan and I being tight, and so she said she wanted to meet Jordan, maybe do a documentary about the guy, And I said, sure. So she arranged a dinner date for us. only problem was Jordan's girlfriend, I think his wife now. Anyway, she's a airhead Trumpy, you know. And my wife is the opposite. Shelby, she's pure as can be, and you know, she's also a comedian, and so she know all, you know, how shitty Trump is. And so the two women got into a big argument to the point where Jordan and his girlfriend got up and left.
Really?
And Jordan came back and he said to me, he says, to show you what a true Republican I am, I'll pick up the tab.
That way he can stick his chest out like your brother used to do. Probably gave you flashbacks.
Oh wow, that's a great line.
I felt like saying, "Oh wait, I'm not finished ordering, man."
Right.
I got the munchies, man. You gotta let me get my order in. This was my appetizer, man.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking about munchies, I did have a quick question. This is a question that I don't know if you've been asked this. I assume you've been asked this, but it's a question that I could not find online anywhere. If you had to choose, what would be your top 3 munchie snacks of all time?
If I had to choose, there would be the top 3.
It's a lot of things that could be.
Well, the trouble is, all the munchies that I really loved, I overdid them. And I'm sick of them.
Yeah. No, I've been there, done that before.
I'll tell you my go-to food, corn on the cob is one of them.
Really?
I can see it.
Wait, roasted?
I love corn on the cob.
Like roasted or just like steamed? How do you like it?
Well, I've done them both.
Okay.
All you gotta do is spin it.
Style. They don't. You just throw them on the whole thing under the fire.
Yeah.
With the leaves and everything.
Yeah, it's
And
delicious.
then when you peel the leaves off, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've done it that way. I've boiled them, of course. Every way I can. And now, what I do when I go to the market, my wife's not totally into like I am. I think I grew up in the country, like in Calgary.
That makes
And
sense.
so corn was sort of like a summer or a fall dish, because the farms, they have to grow.
Yeah.
Right.
And I grew up in a potato area.
Okay.
Potatoes. It's another fried potato.
Oh, yeah.
Or French fries.
Oh,
or
yeah.
any kind of fried. Anything crunchy and salty.
Okay.
And that's what I love. That's
say,
the
yeah.
munchie.
I like the way you think.
And then a healthy munchie would be fruit.
Okay.
Practically any kind of fruit.
Nice.
I love them all. I love pineapple. I love mangoes.
Mangoes are the
My
best.
son has a house in Mexico, and he has a big ass mango tree, and the big mango in a hammock.
Whoa.
And it's an older house in a little Mexican town. Oh, fuck! I love that place.
Wow. A hammock between
I got the big mangoes there. Oh.
a hammock with mango trees. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds like
under the mango tree.
Yeah, yeah. Are there like 2 mango trees and the hammock's just between the both of them?
Yeah, it's similar.
Oh.
There's,
cool.
I don't know if it's fence or whatever, but he's got these trees of mango. And there's another tree. What is it?
Wow.
What it is?
That's a
But
pothead's
in
dream.
his yard. Oh man, Mexico is so beautiful. Oh,
Anything
I
would be
go
much
to
snack
Mexico
under
all
that.
the time.
Wow.
I'm not thrilled with the chips and salsa. That'll drive you.
Yeah.
That depends on where
Take
you
it,
go.
take it or leave it.
Yeah. Like, if I'm sober, I'm not stoned. I'll down chips and salsa. But if I'm stoned, I'm just reaching in that bag and just shoveling it all into my mouth. Cheeto puffs have to be up there on my chips.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's that joke about the guy goes or the mother sends her son to the doctor?
Sorry?
The mother sends the son to the doctor and says, "What's the matter with your son?" He goes, "I don't know, but he's got an orange penis."
Why do you
And
put the
doctor
Cheetos
says,
down
"Well,
there?
well, he just eats Cheetos and watches porn.
Yeah. That's the best way to end a Wednesday night.
Just with a Cheeto right
That's a
next
good
to
one.
it.
Oh, yeah.
You never heard that one?
I never heard that joke before.
I've
No.
never heard that joke before.
Isn't that cute?
I'm-
Isn't that-
Yeah, that's a cute one.
I'm pretty sure I haven't heard it because I was the kid.
You were stuck with Cheeto dick constantly?
Yeah, no, we don't talk about 8th grade like that though. But I had a fun time in middle school, guys.
Yeah, let me tell you the sickest joke I've ever heard.
I'm gonna start calling you
You love
Cheeto
this
dick.
one.
Hell yeah.
If you want to get good jokes, if you know jazz guys,
Oh yeah.
every jazz player I know has their go-to joke.
Yeah.
And there's Barron, Stanley Barron. He's a harmonica player, a sax player for War, the band, or he was anyway. He told me this joke about these homeless guys. They're walking down the railroad track, and they're telling a friend about what happened. You know, we're walking down the railroad track. They come across this naked blonde just laying beside the track. And so they all, oh, wow. And she let him do everything. Everything. They were there for hours. And so then they asked the guy, they were telling us, did she give you some head? And the guy goes, you know, we never did find her head.
He was just swinging off the branches like he was Tarzan. Just swinging off the
Holy
branches.
shit.
That's
Oh my
Had to
god.
go looking for it, like, where's Waldo? Moving the bushes.
that's so good.
Hey, if you
the
just
perfect- is
move the
that a
hair,
perfect
it
joke?
tastes the same.
Holy shit.
That's
But,
so.
right in the front, you say, they saw a blonde laying naked beside the railroad track. I mean, it tells you everything.
Yeah.
Blonde pussy.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
did she give you a hit? We never did find
We
her
never
hit.
find it. That's funny, man.
No, man.
That's too good.
Hey,
That's
man,
a great joke.
Some of them let it grow, and
Tom-
it just hides in
I
there.
told
Yeah.
I do. I told it one time. It was very, very inappropriate.
Right.
Fair.
But that's another time.
Tommy, have you ever heard the one about the two women on a bridge?
No.
So there's two women on a bridge, and one says to the other, "Hey, you know, Deborah, I want to take a piss off this bridge like a man." So Deborah says, "All right, well, just go ahead and do it."
Sit down on the
She says, "Okay." So she pulls down her trousers and she leans over the bridge and she says, "Look, I'm gonna pee down in that canoe down there." And the other woman says, "That's not a canoe. That's your reflection."
I like that.
That's a super Dave Osborne. He told that joke. Oh yeah.
Hold on, you know, I got one for you. What does a queer Italian say when they can't remember something?
When they what?
What does a gay Italian say when they can't remember something?
What?
Sorry, I forgot.
You know, one time there was a guy selling apples. He was selling them for $5. Another guy
Where's
comes
my
over.
phone?
You okay?
He's looking for his
You hear my phone ringing?
I'm
No.
surprised I haven't heard it. I heard some other stuff coming from over there.
Yeah.
Somebody's voice. I thought I heard Siri for a second at one point.
Oh no.
Oh, here's my phone.
Found it?
Hell yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know, one time there was a guy selling apples. He was selling them for about $5. Another guy comes
What's
over.
that?
So a guy was selling apples one time. He was selling them for about $5. Another guy comes over, says, "Why are your apples so expensive?" Guy tells him because they taste like pussy. So this guy grabs the apple, takes the bite out of it, goes, "Puh, huh. Oh, it tastes like shit. Because you got to turn that apple around, motherfucker." Oh, man. I love closing shows out with that.
Right?
That's a great closer.
That's a good one.
All right, but I had one thing that I wanted to ask you, and then I know he had one more. So you've
Okay.
done a lot of different television shows. I picked 4 of them, just stuff you did guest appearances on. So not that 70s show, that 90s show. I definitely love to have you back on and ask about that, but you know, my lesson is waiting for me at 4, so I'll go with this one for now. When you did TV guest appearances, I got to ask, which of these 4 shows was your favorite to perform on? Miami Vice, South Park. This one surprised me, and I was a wrestling fan, so I got Monday Night Raw here. And the last one is Tosh.0. So out of those 4, which
Last
one
one
was
is what? Hash?
Tosh.0?
What was that? I don't
Daniel
remember that
Tosh?
one.
That's with Daniel Tosh. I believe you smoked salvia on that episode or something.
Well, that wasn't my favorite, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember Miami Vice.
Miami
That
Vice?
was pretty
Okay.
funny.
Cool.
That was fun. That was fun because it was at the height of the Miami Vice thing. Yeah, and then Cheech ended up being partners with Don.
Okay.
But I was on Miami Vice before Cheech, so it was pretty
Oh
cool.
wow.
You
You opened the door for
that
him.
all the time. I did it
Yeah, what's
before
that?
you. Oh man. Nah, I was wondering because I wanted to ask, and when I saw Monday Night Raw, I had to add that one because I've been a wrestling fan for years. So
Oh yeah, we were on that. That was crazy. I met
I'd
some of the
imagine.
biggest humans I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I can
Oh,
imagine.
Henry, what the black guy named Henry?
Mark Henry. Yep.
Yeah, he's as big as this table, man. I mean,
Oh my
he's
God.
so big, freaky. Yeah, and I've seen some pictures of bodybuilders now that are beyond freaks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
The steroid freaks.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
They're scary.
You ain't lying.
I've been powerlifting and bodybuilding for a bit, so I follow a bunch of those like gym Instagram accounts. I see people that I'm like, I don't want to look like that. I want to look good. I don't look like that though.
Well,
I just wanna be
you know what
big.
they tell you at the gym when the new guy comes in. I don't want to look like that. They tell him, "We'll stop you before you get that.
No, 100%.
We'll make you quit bodybuilding if you ever get that far."
Yeah.
When you
No.
find out what it takes to get that far, even with steroids.
Yeah, man.
I
I
used
just-
to watch Tom Platz do squats,
Oh my God.
and he would make.
That
I would
guy's
get sick
insane.
for him
Ugh.
because he would do these 50 rep squats, and then man.
With, like,
and then
500
Zabel,
pounds.
my buddy Zabel,
Oh, dude.
he did jump
Tom
squats.
Platz.
You know what jump squats?
Yeah,
are?
jump when they like go like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the
Wow,
bar
that's
down,
insane.
jump, and then jump as high as you can.
Yeah.
And do that for 20 reps or 12 reps or whatever.
Oh Jesus.
I gotta tell.
Whoa!
Jesus
man.
I gotta tell you,
Christ.
this guy's got to look up Tom Platz one day.
I do.
Cause Jesus Christ. 'Cause I remember I found out about him probably back when I was in high school, just about some of the different things that he did.
Yeah.
And people today, they wouldn't believe the kind of
no.
stuff Tom Platz put his legs through.
Oh,
Should've won
listen,
Mr. Olympia
when,
one year.
When I was working out at Gold's Gym, every once in a while, these power lifters, now I don't know if they did it to show off or whatever. They'd say, "Hey, do you mind spotting me?" Sure, what are you doing? 700-pound squat. Oh yeah, I'll spot you. If you
Sure,
get
why
in
not?
trouble, I'll tell everybody there's a spot right there.
That's the spot where he's at. That's where his body parts are. It's over there.
I was at Gold's Gym. I was watching Louis Ferrigno.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Remember Louis Ferrigno?
Yeah.
You know the lat stretch
Yeah.
when you grab
Yeah.
he grabbed the whole the weight thing, the whole section.
How much did he grab? Just all of it.
He grabbed it and he moved it about 3 feet.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
And it's
Just
supposed
tossed
to,
it.
he's supposed to be doing his lats. The whole thing just moved over. Oh man, that's crazy.
He was just
Holy
moving with the
shit.
lat machine every rep. Just
Hey,
spinning on
check this
over.
out. I watched Arnold and Dave Draper run the racks. They start
Okay.
with the lightest and go to the heaviest, and then go back down to the lightest again.
Yeah.
As many reps as they could get in.
Pyramids.
Put them down, grab the next one. As many reps they get in. And then
Yeah,
there's the 150 pounders.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then go back down.
If you ever look up the blueprint for Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's what he always used to do. He would get a certain amount of reps with real heavy weight, and he wouldn't take a rest after that. He would go down about 10 pounds, and he'd do like another 6 or 8 or whatever, then 10 pounds after that, then 10 pounds after that, and that's how you really shock the muscle. So
Really?
that's what Arnold used to do. That's one of his biggest
Well, you're tearing the
tools.
shit out of your muscle. You're tearing.
Oh yeah.
And your body's so great. That's why I try to tell people, how violence, controlled violence. That's what we're doing when
Yes.
you're bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're
Oh, yeah.
you're exploding your muscles. You're
Yeah.
tearing them. You're ripping them,
Mhm.
and your body reacts by rushing blood to that area
Yeah.
to rebuild rebuild the broken tissue, and then that tissue gets built bigger and stronger and stronger, and it never stops. It keeps going.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't do one exercise without affecting every cell in your body, including your toenails.
Yeah.
Every cell in your body feels what you do. You know, the attention, the violence that you put your body through.
How'd your
And
chest
that's
get
why-
that big? Toenail
That's why a
blood.
lot of like distant runners, you know, marathon runners and that, you know, they take their body beyond the tearing and the rebuilding part, and then all of a sudden you're just on the dying part. That's why those marathon runners at the end, if they drop dead, you would say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I see it, because they depleted almost every liquid, everything in their body, just to win. You know, to say they came in first or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when I learned about bodybuilding, oh man, I can't live without it, because
Yeah.
it's like controlled violence, but your body responds to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, you know, I met these guys. I met a lot of them. You know, Zabel, my buddy, he died when he was 83. But before he died, he had malaria from the Second World War. He was a sniper in the Second World War.
Yeah.
You know, his whole story. I'm going to do a movie about it one time. There's a lot of Zabel followers. But when he was 83, he was dying. We all knew it. And he eventually had to go back to New Jersey to his mom's place, and that's where he passed away. But while he was here, now take it, he was 83 at the time. He's still working at the gym, and he never worked. He sat in the chair and answered the phone. And at the end of his life, he wouldn't even answer the phone. The phone would ring, he'd put it in a drawer and close the drawer. And but before he died, I went to see him, and he's at the gym again. "Zabe, how you doing?" You know, okay. He says, every day I wake up, I get more aches and pains, but it's okay. And then as I was leaving, I look over, and there's this gorgeous model just waiting for Zabel to get off work. Because Zabel was renowned for his equipment.
Ah.
He had equipment
He had
that
the
would make all
stash.
the gay guys found all the gay body, you know, the fans. They would send Zabel money for his underwear.
Where the stash at?
Oh my
For his
God.
underwear.
He was the
And
first
Zabel-
OnlyFans girl.
Oh,
Zabel,
yeah.
Every once in a while, Zabel would go around the locker room and say, "Hey, anybody got some underwear I could?"
This is where
Yeah.
OnlyFans started, right here.
Yeah.
And so Zabel would collect the underwear, and some would be extra large, some would whatever. Didn't mind the sizes. He never sent his own, but he would send everybody else's. You know, and the guy would send $100 or whatever it was.
I'd imagine they'd like the small one, so because like the bulge is right there. You know what I mean? Just
Well,
all
I really
around.
don't know about that world. I sort of run from those guys.
I don't know. Just a thought in my head. I don't know either. I could be totally wrong. Oh man.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I know you have one more question.
Yeah, I did have a few questions to end us off on.
Sure.
So I know you were on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because it looks like a very fun experience as a viewer.
Well, it was an accident. It wasn't me. My wife has been a dancer all her life, you know, since I've known her. And she wanted to be on Dance with the Stars. And so she did the audition. And then they found out in the audition who she was married to. And so they says, "Well, can you have Tommy come down? We'd love to talk to you." The next thing I know, my wife tells me, "You got an audition for what? For Dancing with the Stars?" Really? When did that happen? Well, you know, she told me the story. I said, "Oh, okay, I'll go down, meet him." Next thing you know, I'm on Dancing with the Stars.
I'm surprised they didn't do a husband-wife thing. Why not?
That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
And Roberto, is that his name? The guy that was on the Will Smith show.
I believe so.
Oh.
Prince of Bel Air.
Carlton,
You know the
right?
guy Roberto.
Carlton?
I think that's
yeah.
his name.
Yeah.
He
Something.
when I met him, it was on a bus in New York. We were going to do the press conference to show everybody who's on Dance with the Stars. Anyway, he's on the bus and he's bragging on me. He said, I'm going to beat your ass, man. I beat Cheech in the singing contest. Now I got to beat you. Because he was a Michael Jackson impersonator. He
Oh, wow.
won. He did win.
Wow.
But I did scare the shit out of him. Because he had no idea how popular I was. And so every week, so and so got kicked out, everybody got kicked out. And one time, they purposely asked the ones, "Who do you think will get kicked off next?" Well, so many people thought I was going to go, because of my age. I was older than the judges.
Wow.
When I did it, Lenny was amazed, that, and so what happened, because I was so popular with the fans and I stayed on till the finals. And when the finals come up, Roberto said to me, kind of like, in case you win, he said, all the other dancers are really worried now because you're so popular. You made the finals.
Wow.
And if I do the right dance, I walk away with a trophy. And he'd already built a place for that trophy in his house. So,
Wow. He was ready.
And the last thing I wanted to do was to win that contest. I did not want to win that contest because I know what happens when you win. You go on tour. You have to do that same shit every fucking night for I don't know how many months.
Right.
It's nothing, money, fame. You find the worst thing you can do is become a really good dancer.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
They work you to the bone. They break your body down.
That was the toughest thing I'd ever done. But I figured a way around it. What I did, I found out that they got crows hanging around, just in case. And so what I would do, I'd tell Peter, my partner, I'd say, why don't you get the crow to show me everything? And Peter loved that. Oh, okay. And the pros loved it too, because then, so I'd just sit for the whole practice area, watch them dance. And I learn more from watching than I do from doing. Because when you get a certain age, the more you do it, the worse you get. It's not like you get any better.
Just breaking you
That's
down.
why you want to do the first time, and you're one and done. Because it takes so much energy. Yeah. But I really, really, really enjoyed it because I'm a dancer. I study tango and I learned salsa, and I'm a pretty good salsa dancer. But when you get older, man, you don't have the energy. You don't have.
You only do it so many times.
It's hard to go upstairs, let alone dance all fucking night.
The best part of that is when he gets up the stairs because he knows it's over. It's the first time he's looked forward to the stairs in a long time.
Yeah, that's the easy part. Well, even now, when I take my dog for a walk, I think I read a long time ago about this village in I think it was in Russia somewhere, Serbia somewhere, where they're the oldest village on the planet. The average age was like 118 years old.
Oh wow!
And you know what their secret was?
Okay.
They had no running water. They had to walk down the mountain for the water, and then carry the water back up the mountain to their village.
Really?
And so that exercise kept their heart going. You see?
Oh yeah, kept it going.
That's what you want to do. Or anything. You're sick or just want to get a better body, find the hill.
Yeah.
Because your body reacts to the walking and the hiking.
Yeah.
It reacts really well, When your body, like when you're just doing squats and that, you're only hitting a few muscles,
Yeah.
But when you're walking, your whole body's engaged. From your toes to your eyebrows, everything's engaged.
Yeah.
So that's what
Never
that's
skip
my
eyebrow
secret
day.
of
I never
longevity.
skip eyebrow day. That's why I'm on fleek right now. You know what I mean?
We never skip eyebrow day.
We never skip eyebrow day.
Buy A what day?
We never skip
Eyebrow
eyebrow day in the gym. We always got to
Eyebrow
make sure our
day.
face muscles are
Exactly.
nice and tight. You know what I
We
mean?
walk around the machines.
Yeah. I just give them dirty looks.
Gotta get that surprise ring.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one more story about
Let's do
Gold's Gym. I haven't been there for years, because the last time I was there, they fucking robbed me.
Oh,
And
man.
the way they robbed me was that I put my wallet and everything in the locker. And what I didn't know is that the locker next to them, they punched a hole in the wall so they could reach in and grab your goodies. So I lost a few $100, and then I never went back to Gold. But when I was in Gold, one time I was in Gold because World Gym closed or something. I forget. But anyway, I'm at an old Gold Gym. And this bodybuilder named Samson, a black guy named Samson, come in. And next thing I know, Samson's fighting. He's throwing weights around at people. And I got fucked out of there because, weights, they get hurt.
Chucked it like a javelin.
So I found out about Samson. He's a black guy. He's crazy. But he's big. He can bench press 400 pounds.
Wow.
Big dude.
And
That's
so
crazy.
So I saw Samson. This is the last time I saw Samson. But the first time I saw Samson, World Gym was open. He came up and he challenged Cal Scalek, who's another bodybuilder, big guy, to a bench press contest because Samson could bench press 400 pounds. Mm-hmm. And so they put 400 pounds on the thing. Samson gets underneath it and he just struggles. Finally, just cheats his way up, gets it up, does it. Now it's Cal's turn. Cal gets under the weights.
One
He
hand.
starts doing reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You look like you're doing sit-ups with.
Oh
You
my
doing that
God. With
too?
400 pounds?
You're only supposed to do 1.
Oh my God. He was like, light
One-
work, man.
One hand, head back, sit-ups, because Tommy Chong is going up and down.
And that wasn't the first time I ran into Samson. You got to see this guy. He's probably in jail or dead.
He became a
For a
boss
while
in
there,
there.
I was studying boxing because I never wanted to get hit. I knew about getting hit. I've been hit before. And that's not fun. But I loved the training. So I ended up meeting the Goosen brothers, Joe Goosen. They train fighters, And so anyway, Goosen, I made a deal with him to train me for about a month, maybe longer. And so I was down there training. I was doing it like a regular boxer because I was a celebrity, it was more easier, there's no contact or anything. Samson comes into the ring, into the building.
Coming down the
And he told Joe Goosen. Now Samson's wearing a big old fur coat. And he tells Joe, he said, listen, I want you to get me in shape because I'm going to have a fight with Mike Tyson. And Joe said,
Good luck.
well, you come to the right place.
You ever seen Mike Tyson in a heavy
Well, first
bag?
of all, let's
Oh
see
my
what you
God.
got. And so Joe looks around, picks the smallest guy in the gym, little light featherweight, and he puts him in the ring with Samson. Samson's a big guy, got the gloves in. Well, Samson made a mistake in trying to, because Joe told him, just spar a little bit, let's just see what you got, no heavy hitting.
Yeah.
Samson doesn't listen. So the first chance he gets, he throws a haymaker at the little guy. And the little guy, it's all instinct.
Oh,
When
no.
you throw anything at a fighter, the one thing you don't want to do, you want to take a punch at a fighter. Because he'll counter and pop you before you even knew what he did. And that's what happened to Samson. Samson threw that roundhouse. The little featherweight
There you go.
just tattooed, probably started on his waist and got up to the head. They had to call an ambulance.
Left himself open with that roundhouse.
They had to call an ambulance.
Wow.
God.
And
That's
Goosen was
crazy.
a little worried because, he was Bible.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But we had enough of us there that we would definitely, court or whatever. but the little flyweight is a flyweight. But when you in boxing, what you do, you learn how to punch.
Yeah.
You learn how to throw a punch. It's like golf. You learn how to hit a ball. It's technique. It's all technique.
Yes.
Not power.
For sure.
It's all technique, and the same as the punching. And so when Samson threw that punch, the little flyweight come in there and boom, 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 boom. And boxers like Sugar Ray is a good friend of mine. And the secret of Sugar Ray, he knew where to hit.
Oh wow.
There's one thing about hitting someone, but when you know where to hit, the button, the chin, or the forehead, or somewhere, even in the chest. But you got to know where to hit. And
Was he a big liver blow guy?
Yeah. What's that?
Was he a big liver blow guy?
That's what Sugar Ray was.
Wow. Yep.
That's what he did.
There you
He
go.
stopped guys. You hit him in the liver, and all of a sudden they go.
Yep.
It's a great
Yep.
reaction, and then once you go there, you're done. And that's why they would.
Enough of those, it's over.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting back up. 100%. But I actually do have one more question I wanted to ask him, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So because we already went through how you started playing guitar, I was gonna ask you that, but you did it for beer at 8 years old, which is, I think, a better story than I could have ever come up with. So that's great. But how did it lead you to playing for the Shades in the early 60s? And I know that name changed a lot as well. I love some of the names, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, again, I was backing up an Elvis impersonator,
Okay.
and then we got a gig at the local Elks
Okay.
club, and it was the Daughters of the Revolution, some racist white group. And they would hire us as a floor show, and so Tommy, the black kid who was the lead singer, he was a football player,
Okay.
and he would have been in the pros, and now he was a singer, and then the Elvis impersonator was a full-blood Native American named Dick Bird, the Sarcee tribe, and he was 6'2", and he could look like Elvis if you were drunk enough,
Yeah.
and so the three of us, and then we got a black girl to dance with Tommy, and so the four of us would put on these shows, floor shows. That's really where I got into doing floor shows as opposed to dances. But that's how we started, because we were always a show band. Like Tommy could dance like, the jitterbug, the old style, and he had that Louis Armstrong smile, and
Jitterbug.
it was great. Yeah.
Jitterbug.
Jitterbug. He couldn't help himself.
I couldn't.
The one old song this little man knows.
Yep.
Young Buck over here. All right, but I know you had one more as well. You wanted to ask him some CBD questions.
One more time.
Sorry?
One more time.
One more time.
Jitterbug.
Guys, what's the question?
Last question.
So I did have a question for you. So I know that you have the Cheech and Chong brand that you've been selling now, the CBD. Because what's it called? I have a buddy who struggled with, and I found out about it through my buddy struggled with insomnia for like years, and nothing really helped. And he bought the sleep oil, and it helped. It's the thing that's helped him the most. So
isn't that great? Great?
I haven't tried it yet, but through him, I can say it's great and it works. And I know you have products in Michigan and a whole lot of business out on the West Coast, but can we expect one of your dispensaries to pop up more in the East Coast area, maybe like the New York City area?
I love that.
That's a good question.
Oh, for sure. For sure. The only problem with the East Coast is that they've had a marijuana legal for eons,
Yeah.
especially New York. New York had a delivery system that superior to this day.
Yeah, they're still doing
I was
it.
in New York when people were going to jail for life practicing for pot.
Yeah.
And a guy picked up a phone, and we had pot within about 15 minutes. The bicycle, the bicycle delivery guy. Boom, there's your pot. And so New York, the dispensary has to be a New York dispensary. In fact, I was in a building. We were in this one pot building. I forget where it is, but it's 5 stories, and it's downtown. And what they did, the building, all the 5 stories, every story is painted green.
Wow.
So when you turn on the lights, it looks like this green lantern.
Oh wow.
in the huge,
That's beautiful.
Downtown New York. And then every floor is like a different kind of a pot related museum where you could, the history of pots, one. And one floor is all just running shoes, sneakers, you know,
Wow.
just all the museum type sneakers.
Really?
Another floor is it's just a weird, sort of like a psychedelic mushroom floor, made out of wood and plywood, and it's incredible. It's gorgeous.
Wow.
All these different floors. It's the future. Really is. This is what we're looking at. It's coming up. You know, that's because
awesome.
it's more than a
Obviously.
lounge. You know, the trouble is with a lot of dispensaries and the way they think when they think of lounge, they think of like a beer parlor or a bar. You know, you sit around and talk loud and drink and get stupid. You know.
Yeah.
A pot thing is what they've done is they've made the whole wall projected images, and so you're immersed into the situation. You know, like flowers and calming stuff. It's a trip. You'll find it. It's in New York. It's incredible.
5-story weed building in New York.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
No, I'm just making a mental
thought
note of
it
it.
was.
No, look up a 5-story weed spot in New York.
Yeah.
I assume there's
Yeah.
not many of them.
I always love looking at the trucks
No.
that are in the city.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those tie-dye trucks that you just see going along the street, you know,
Oh, those are beautiful
next to
trucks.
the food stands.
Oh,
Oh yeah, isn't that great?
To set up
those
for
trucks
success.
have supplied many
My
a fun
God.
city days for me.
New York really is the head of our planet. You know, that's where the control system is.
Yeah.
That's where you go to New. Like I always tell people, you know, about being in my movie. If I got a movie, you know, hey, put me in your movie. I said, well, you got to be like a New York actor. And they said, what's that? I said, well, New York actors, they do their homework. If they want a job, they'll know who the director is, who the writer is. They'll know the whole history of the movie, and especially the director or producer, whoever is in charge of the money. They will research, find out everything about the guy, where he has his breakfast, where he does everything, and then they will show up to a reading a day early.
Yeah.
And then the casting agent say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but we're having that thing tomorrow," you know. And then you say, New York actors say, "Well, what time?" "Okay, I'll be there. And remember me, I'm so and so, blah blah blah." And so what happens? The way people cast movies, the casting directors, more than talent, they're looking for energy.
Yeah.
How bad do you want this job?
Yeah.
You want this job bad enough. Not just because you're starving or anything, because you're an actor, you know you can do this part. And you show them that you can do this part. First of all, you show them that you're a reliable actor.
Of course.
You will not only show up, you'll show up a day early.
Yeah.
And so when you come in, the
That's
casting
real.
people already know you.
Yeah.
And so when the casting people introduce you to the director, "Oh, this is so-and-so, I told you about him. He came up yesterday and blah, blah, blah." And they go, "Oh, okay. Well then," and then you do your bit. You would say, "Oh, by the way, say hi to your wife." And, you know, the director, "Oh, really? Who is this guy?" You know, and then you read for the part. And if you're not good for that part, I'll guarantee there's a part they'll either
be
write
something
for you
else.
or they'll find for you.
Yep.
They want energy. You see, they want that energy in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's New York. That's the secret of New York.
For sure.
That's cool, man.
Because when we Cheech and I go there, we get people, you know, autograph hounds, you know, and they're so inventive and they're so beautiful. I don't mind them. Cheech hates them. Cheech hates being, he hates being, you know, he's just as his birth sign or something. You know, if he's going somewhere, he wants to go there. He doesn't want to stop and chat. I'm a Gemini, so I'll chat.
My wife's like
now,
that.
I'll talk,
That's my wife.
But the New York guys, they always find a way to get you to sign. You know, and so what I do, I just sign. I don't. Yeah, because I understand. You know, people are making a living off our signatures, but you're helping the economy. You know, they're getting money for this, and that money they're going to spend on food or whatever. You know, they're not doing this to piss you off. Yeah. They're doing this to make some money, and I respect that. I always have.
Yeah.
You know, so I love New York guys. My son, he's my manager. He'll shield me. You know, he'll get away because he knows that I'll stand and talk and sign for hours. You know?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Like I'll sit and talk to you guys for hours.
Right.
No, I know you could.
We really appreciate it.
And I appreciate that, man. So I just have one more thing that I want to ask you, and then unfortunately I have to go to work. I'd keep going, but you know.
Good for you. You got a job, man.
Yeah, I got kids that got to learn how to swim. I'm a swim instructor. That's what I do for.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, great. We got to get my daughter. Yeah, that's the best. Swimming lessons are the best.
Oh my God, I love doing them, man. Kids are great.
Yeah, because there's so many things you can do with a swimming lesson.
Yeah.
You know, besides teach them how to swim, teach them how to listen.
That's true. There's so much you could do with just the swimming part, especially the listening part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many games you could, especially with the little ones. There's games you could play that just get them to listen. You make waves in the pool. You got them for like at least a good 10 minutes. Yeah. That's really it.
And like I got a pool here, and my grandkids, it's their go-to place, man.
Yeah, man. That was my go-to place.
They got control. Little kids, they got control of themselves, and the water becomes their friend, man. Well, when I was a kid growing up, we never lived anywhere near lakes or anything. 200 miles to the nearest lake.
Oh, wow.
And there were times when I would just do everything. I either cry my eyes out, bitch and moan, everything to get my dad to drive us that 200 miles so we could play in a muddy-ass lake.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's got to be muddy.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. That way he's got to clean it up after.
Exist with the elements. Love what love what Mother Nature brings us.
100%.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I do have...
Well, that's cheap. Mother, if you get along with nature, man, that's what the hippies found out, man. You know,
it's cheap.
You don't need much more.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Just take a single toke, put it out, and sit on top of a mountain and just look at the trees.
Just sit in a
or
mud
you'd be
pile
like that
even.
cowboy. Was Chill Wills? He said,
"Yeah,
give me a warm place to shit, a tight pussy, and I'm okay."
Especially the warm place to shit.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that I wanted to ask you. If you could just give us a sound bite, just, hey, you're listening to Tommy Chong, and it's Far Out, man, on Hamilton Radio. I would absolutely love that if you could.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, you're listening to Tommy Chong, man. Far Out, man. On what radio?
Hamilton Radio, man.
On Hamilton Radio. How come they call it Hamilton Radio?
That's where I live, Hamilton.
Oh, you're the guy.
Yeah. I'm that guy,
Hamilton,
man.
Hamilton, what? Ontario?
No, New Jersey.
Jersey.
Oh.
Far out, man.
You'll find it eventually, man.
Far out.
Just go down the road.
Hamilton, Hamilton, Ontario? No, Hamilton, New Jersey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, are there any plugs that you want to put out here?
Well, we got a documentary. It's
the
writer's strike is actually helping it because it's kind of, making it worth more. The documentary is done by my daughter and Dave Bushnell. It's in the can. It's ready to be shown. Other than that, just our weed products, our hemp, all that shit, But I don't have to worry about plugging it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tight.
Actually, Ruben wanted to know if you could do plug for Hamilton Radio? Get on the mic, Ruben. If you're gonna
See,
do
Tommy, it's hard to find good help around here.
It's hard to what?
I said it's hard to find good help around here.
Well,
Clearly.
Hey,
you get here. I'll give you a tip how to find good help.
okay.
Pay them.
You're right.
Yeah.
Come on here looking like fat slender man at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Money can't buy you love, but it
I know.
will buy you good help.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to ask if you don't mind. I was going to ask you, can you give Hamilton Radio a plug?
Hamilton Radio?
A plug?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Hamilton Radio?
Yep, Hamilton Radio. Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you want to hear something that'll change your mind forever? Listen to Hamilton Radio.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Far out, man.
Far out, man.
You are
Okay,
the
I'm going to get out of here before I get any more.
you're the coolest dude in the world, Tommy
right,
Chong.
man.
We love you, man.
Dude.
We love you
Tommy,
guys.
Tommy,
You're the best.
this was honestly this was something I was looking forward to for a long time. I'm very glad I got to spend this time with you today. I gotta say, no bullshit. I look up to you, man. You're one of my favorite people for my whole life. You and Robin Williams both up there. You know what I mean? So
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
this
By the
was
way, I'm offering my immediate family, my sons and my grandson. I've got them. I want them to. You know what a 6-pack is?
I have
Yes.
a 6-pack.
6-pack abs.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
6-pack abs. I have a 6-keg. Mine sticks out a little
I
bit.
know about it. I know about
Okay.
it.
I'm offering my boys, people close to me, $100,000, $100,000, if they can show me. I'll go for a 6-pack. I was going to go for 8-pack, but a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Zabo,
That's
my buddy, had an 8-pack.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But if you got 6-pack, yeah, because I found this is what I found with Zabo. His magic. Look him up, by the way.
Okay.
Zabo Kosuski.
Yeah.
He his waist. He would work out. He would do the Roman chair sit-ups. You know.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do them by reps. He'd do them by hours. He would spend at least an hour a day doing Roman chair
Wow.
sit-ups. He's here an hour,
I believe
an
it.
hour. And one time he went jogging, and I says, "I'll come with you." He goes, "No, don't bother.
I do it by hours.
He's too fast.
You sure you
He was
want
too
this?
fast. His jogging was like sprinting, and he would jog again for a few hours and then come back to the gym. But he did those Roman chair sit-ups whenever he could, and I do that too. I do that too a lot, because the waist area, that they're the hardest. It's the first place to gain fat and the hardest place to lose. But once you lose it, the rest of the body falls into shape like you would not believe, man.
Yeah.
You get that 6-pack, you own the world.
Yeah.
Unless you're married, and then your wife will get kind of pissed off or jealous.
100% though.
Take care, guys. I
Yeah.
love you guys.
Have a great day,
best.
man. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
meeting you.
It was awesome. That is it. Hot Tag
That is
Takes.
it.
Hamilton Radio. Play
Thank you
us
guys
out,
for
Ruben.
coming out, guys.
It's my fucking show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I love you.